my cousin a pill, till it's granny. I bought a Chanel that hill, young Chanel, baby. I still got vintage guard. Oldest my granny, got my interior all. Outside candy, I put your in bomb, cause she pretty. Hey, 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 freak on the face. My hands in my comb with a waist. I'm impatient, I don't wanna wait. How you go, then I am what I hate. I go up at with an 8. And no shame that I hit with some snakes. Catch out on the farm today. I hop in that Ryan race. Never get tired of the hate. No, I'm up to the top like a gate. You look, got me in face. I go like a bottle of Ace. So Coca-Cola bottle her shake. Hey, I had a ball today. She drinking Charlotte. When they quit it, they have to debate. Jewish lawyer that handled the case. They got the taste. With the pounds and all these states.
Welcome to Life Talk 21, the show that is designed to motivate you, to inspire you, and to give you strategies to help you live in the 21st century, and not just live, but we want you to be successful. And I'm your host, Eric Wortham, behavior specialist, educator, author, speaker, and naval disabled veteran. And today, I want to talk to you about a few things. I know a lot of things some of the things that I talk about are hard to take, and it may seem offensive, but I'm coming from a perspective of where I have really studied. Behavior is really, it's my expertise. It really is. It really is. Understanding behavior a little bit has helped me to be a more balanced person in life. It really has, man, to where, I can tolerate other people now, and, regardless if they believe what I believe or same color or have a different philosophy, it doesn't matter, because I'm more balanced in my approach to life, and it's because of those things I've learned how to be balanced, and it's helped me to be able to deal with all kinds of people. Man, I rarely have problems with people, even when we disagree, because I'll never let it get to the point to where it gets explosive. I would end it before that. And most of the time I'm using my de-escalation techniques anyway. I teach the stuff, so I know how to use them pretty well. But the bottom line is, it puts us in that perspective, understanding other people. So I know I get a lot of people to where they're thinking like, what's wrong with this guy, man? But it's just because I have a passion for it. Behavior is my thing. Behavior is my thing. So, and I believe that, I'm going to be honest with you, that's one of the things you'll hear throughout as well. I believe that God set up systems. And one of those systems is that he gave us what we need to be successful. He did. And all we have to do is work to be our best self. And basically we do that by what Jesus said. Love God with all your heart, your mind, your soul. Love your neighbor as yourself. And so, I know that's not my intent. I just want to help. That's all. I want to be very helpful. So let me get to this. Without all of that, let me get to what I want to talk about today. And it's simple. Don't make learning traumatic. Don't make learning traumatic. See, that's one of those things, man, that it's hard for us to accept, the reality of what happens, because sometimes things it's just a reality, and I'm going to talk about that. Now, I do want to preface some things, and I always say this. I don't blame our parents. I don't, because sometimes parents get offended when we say stuff, so I have to let them know I don't blame our parents, because they were simply doing what was passed down. They really was, and, we can't blame them. They tried their best, and that's what God wants, your best. But we're in a different position now. We know more. We know more. And so we have to be able to look at things sometime and question them, because, What it comes down to is this: in this country, it is tradition versus progression. And there are us that are in the middle, because we believe both has to happen, together. But when you take either side or the other one, progressive, you far to the left, or Republican far to the right, whatever it is, when you're too far to one side, it makes it hard for you to be able to reach on the other side, because the distance is so far away. But, they did. So we don't blame our parents, but I know in my generation, starting with me and some other folks, we had questions about some of the traditions that we were forced to believe and take, but we didn't pursue them because we thought that that's the way it was. And so what you do is you end up doing things just because they were passed down and not looking at the data that shows if this thing is working or not. And not you don't even have to look. When I talk about data, you don't have to look anywhere other than your own family. Look at the number of people that got those traditional butt whippings, and look at how many of them reach their full potential doing it. Okay, so that's the thing. So I'm going to talk about this. Again, we grow up accepting philosophies or ways of life without looking at the impact that it had on society and on individuals. We accept these traditions when, even when the data has shown that it's not effective. But again, I just told you, you don't need data. You can look at your own family and see how effective those explosive methods has been. Because I'm telling you, that's the thing that is going on now. That's thus the title, parents, because we are teaching, but don't make learning traumatic for them. Because they see it one way, we see it another way. So we don't want to make it traumatic. But we did. We grew up and we just accepted some of these traditions. But I had questions. I did. Just you was afraid to say anything, so you did not say anything. But the difference is these kids are not afraid. They're going to say it if they feel like it is something that they really are passionate about. They're going to say it. So we've been accepting traditional things. Not me. I appreciate tradition. I respect it, and I do use tradition in my methods. But for me, I always, no matter what job I've had, no matter what I have done in life, man, I cannot, conscientious person, introverted, all of those things, I cannot uh, do something that is not producing. I'm not going to stay there long. If it's not showing me some results, I can't do it. And that's everything with teaching. That's why I was so good at it, because I couldn't just sit there. I don't know how some of those teachers do it. They just sit there and collect the check, and these kids just doing everything. That's chaos to me. I can't do it. So I had to find a way to get my kids to do what I needed them to do so that I can continue to be sane. And it worked, no matter who the students were or where they were. Atlanta Public School, Clayton County School, DeKalb County. I'm talking about in Atlanta if you're somewhere else. But those are known as some of the tough schools. And I went to the toughest schools, and it worked. It worked. So, I kind of know a little bit about what I'm talking about when it comes to that. So, the thing that I mean when I say don't make it traumatic, because we think aggression I'm gonna be honest with you. Those are the traditional ways in the African American family to use aggression to whoop. Everybody has stories of getting beat with an extension cord, getting switches, going to get multiple ones, because that's the way that tradition was saying. We looked at the Bible. Some Christians will say the Bible says, "Spare the rod, and you spoil the child." But you have to, and I'm not gonna get into that, but that's not what the rod was used for back then when shepherds were tending the sheep. It was a guiding method, just like it was for Moses. Stick, water dry up, stick, water come back. That's that's what it was. So I'm not gonna get into that, but we use aggressive tactics, and it really has benefited in a negative way. It really has. Because what we've done, we've desensitized our youth to pain. We've desensitized our youth to pain. And it's been happening for years, but now it's full blown because of, entities like social media, cell phones. It's just full blown now, but it's been happening for years. You know, it's not that parents are not whooping kids now. I hear that all the time. Yes, they are. It's simply non-effective. That's the only thing. It's just not working because it don't work. Forcing us to be parents that guide and train. It doesn't work, so it forces us to be parents to guide and train now. Okay, so you can keep trying that other way, but I'm telling you, it's going to be like going against the prick or whatever that term is when you keep going against yourself. It makes it difficult. You can keep trying that, but I'm telling you, as a person, and I regret that I didn't use all of these methods with my kids. Because I started educating when they were like high school, getting ready to graduate. So, I wish I would have been a behavior specialist then, and I could have did a lot better. But my thing is, man, I accept that I wasn't my best me when I was raising my kids. And my goal is to help others though. So I don't just say, oh, so forget it, I didn't get it, let it go. No, now it's my job to help the next ones. Okay, so those methods was ineffective, and really what it has done is desensitize our youth to pain. So they don't care about getting whippings. These kids, they are willing to take the beating just to get their point across. They are willing to take the beating just to get their point across. They are, I'm telling you. Our aggressive ways has created a generation of kids that are rebellious and destructive. They're rebellious because they don't think their point of view is given any consideration. They don't think, I'm telling you, I know this. I have done symposiums. My wife have done symposiums at high schools. And I'm telling you, the main question is, how do I get my parents to at least listen to me? I mean, it is what it is, but that's from experience. I don't care if I went to a symposium today and there was 1,000 kids, more than 800 are going to be saying, how do I get my parents to listen to me and to take some of the stuff that I say serious? Okay. I'm going to leave that right there. But I'm telling you, when I talk to the high schoolers, that's the number one thing. Okay. So, and destructive because we traumatize them to make them comply. See, that's what it's doing, is traumatizing them. Because think about it. Put yourself in that. See, that we can't empathize. We can't put ourselves in the situation, man. How did it make you feel? You made a mistake. And all of a sudden, this belt and everything. I'm like, well, you're grown, but you make mistakes. What if somebody just all of a sudden got a belt when you made a mistake? Okay, it'll make you feel bad. You wouldn't like that. Okay, and so that's trauma for them. That is. I'm telling you, that's trauma for them. When we yell, scream, curse out, and beat the hell out of our kids, and it's not working. We do all that. We do. Parents are doing that. So y'all can stop saying parents ain't whipping their kids. Yeah, they are. They are. Parents are not training their kids. Parents are not guiding their kids. That's the problem. That's what the Bible says. Look at the Bible. Look at how many times it say train, guide. It says that like I'm doing it because you need to listen to it. It has emphasis to it. Okay, so training guide, but we're making them aggressive by the way we do. We're yelling and screaming, and those things are traumatic. And let me tell you something. Even when we are successful, despite those things, we have to eventually have therapy to overcome the trauma. How do I know? Oprah Winfrey. How do I know? The Rock. How do I know? Tiffany Haddish. How do I know? Tyler Perry. How do I know? Will and Jada Smith. And many others that are on the list that made it but still had some issues because of trauma. Because of trauma. Okay? So there is a way that you can guide your kids and train them without being explosive. I did it. And you're getting ready to see it too, live. You're going to see how I did it. Yeah, instead of downing the generation, like I heard Frank Ski this morning, he was talking about how, this generation, they've lost and all that kind of stuff. But instead of downing them, this is a novel idea, this is what I did. Instead of putting down the rap music and saying that stuff don't make no sense, that's garbage, because I'm gonna talk about that too, because it's actually the same stuff we did, same stuff we listened to, sex, power, money, same stuff that we used to listen to. So, but the bottom line is you're going to learn. I'm going to talk about that in another show, but there are ways that you can teach and train your kids without teaching them to be explosive. Because really what we're doing is we're teaching them conflict resolution skills. And those conflict resolution skills just happen to be explosive. You can ask any teacher that works at a school that's 70% or more African American, ask them what's the number one problem they deal with, and it's going to be student aggression toward each other. Okay, I'm just saying, don't traumatize your kids trying to teach them. Okay, don't make their learning traumatic. It's a problem. Don't make your kids learning traumatic, man. I did it myself, and I'm still working now to try to help them to know that it doesn't have to be that way. It takes work, yeah, but when you do that work, man, I'm telling you, and I've actually seen parents who have done it that way. So, it's an amazing thing once we begin to do it. It is an amazing it's an amazing thing. So, that's what we're gonna that was what I want to talk about today, is don't make learning traumatic. I'm Eric Wortham. Remember to be all you can be by doing all you can do. Thank you.
I feel like I'm Kodak back in 2015. In a view with plenty killers, missing Miley with the lean. Don't make no sense, I catch a body on the scene. Just a minor in designer, I was robbing for some jeans. 2012, I was only 14. I was serving dope fiends, I was sitting no